Hello there, my beautiful and lovely gamers. My name is Jonal. Today we are back with the coaching series, and we're taking a look today at a Platinum Tracer here on Oasis. We'll only take a look at the first round as always, since we rather want to go a little bit more into detail while still keeping these short. If you're interested in private coaching, it costs 50 euros for a 2-hour session. You can hit me up on our Discord server, which I will link down in that description. Now, with no further ado, we will be starting this up here. And one of the things that I noticed while taking this, I watched this like a couple days ago, but I still remember it fairly clearly, is the weird way that you're playing Tracer. Now, I'm not sitting here with any of my notes. As I said, I'm kind of working on something else. But what we first want to take a look at, which is kind of like, look here. So the fight is about to start, right? Or the map is about to start, and you're still standing here. Go up to the gate, get ready. When it comes to a King of the Hill, the reason the King of the Hill is so special to a certain extent, right, is because it's a 50-50. Both teams, as long as they move with equal speed, will hit that halfway mark. So, for example, here to here, right, we both hit that halfway mark. That's where we'll be meeting. So, as a Tracer, where a lot of the time your job is to end up in their, if you're blue here, to end up like in their backline, right, hit these areas, we want to get as much space as we can, as much tempo on. So if they don't run a Tracer, a lot of time we can advance faster. Or if we're just a bit faster, let's say that both Tracers, both you and the enemy Tracer tries to advance through this way, what we will be seeing is that if you are here a little bit earlier, she will come in here, you will trade damage, you take the health back, you got health pack advantage. Now you got a full heal back up. Essentially, you did a recall without burning a recall, which a lot of time does, that you can force her back and essentially claim this area much easier for you and keep this area for your control. Or you can even kill her, or at least make her burn recall, and then you can, if the 1v1 is continued, let's say that the enemy team, since this is platinum, let's say they went here and the enemy Tracer went here, right? Then you can force her to burn recall because you took the heal. All of a sudden you have recall, she doesn't, you should win that 1v1, right? In general, will be really aggressive early on, standing up at the gate so that you can get out here. Look, you're standing here, then you type XD, right? Now you're pretty slowly out of that gate. And so on. You're kind of just jumping around with no, what can I say? It looks very, like you're kind of just like moving and not really sure what you want to do. Always make sure that when you pick a hero that you have a plan in your head. That's very, very, very good. On top of that, notice where you're moving. So you're going to rotate now here from left to right. But what you did was you went to the left and then to the right. And then here, doing in this area right here, the enemy team can see you, right? So now they know that you are gonna be in this opening, and when they see you rotating now here for right side, they now saw, oh, okay, their Tracer's going right side, and they can now call that out, or they can at least to a certain extent prepare for it as they want. If they have a Kree, you haven't pressed tab, you don't know the hero composition, he can maybe he saw you there, because a lot of them they go in front, right, to shoot the Ryan shield. He saw you there, okay, he also rotating to this room now, ready to flashbang you, right? If they have a break or whatever, and it's been such a long time, right? Both the enemy team has already started establishing some control. One of your players has managed to run all the way around and taking this position, and now you're starting to flank. Your flank is incredibly late. You're not doing your job of disturbing, right? What we want to do, a lot of time with Tracer, what's so powerful, I bet you could say one of the stronger ways to maybe play the Tracer, while there's a lot of option, is that when the enemy team push in, we do what's called a snake line. So we're attacking them in a snake line. When someone push, they push in snake lines. Okay, that's just because people will have different positions, different reaction time. Someone will be pushing, there won't be much coordination to. That's why you see in higher coordinated team, you know, then they're coordinating pushes, and even then, a lot of time they do snake line out of sheer necessity that their support line, let's say a Senyara, for example, can't be up in the front line, so he will be far back here. So when these guys are moving forward, there will be this, essentially, a line where that's very thinly spread out, with the front line up front, and right, and then the DPS is coming a little bit after, and the support line in the back, right? So a snake line, right? And when they push, they are normally focusing on your front line, they're fighting, whatever, meaning that the back line is very open to attacks. If they're standing still, like say in this choke right here and they're not pushing, there's a bigger possibility that they are not paying attention too much, since they're not engaging, they're not having to move forward and clear the area and check that they are not getting flanked and so on. So at that point, they can actually be paying way more attention to the backline, making it harder for you to go in for a kill, right? So if you're in position when they push, you will a lot of time have a better chance of actually succeeding in that flank. So you're gonna go around here now. And you can see, like, again, you lose your guard here way later than you. Your accuracy is like one of the things that you also kind of need to work on. And also, what you will be seeing here as the accuracy part, but also the way that you burn your blinks. You burn a lot of blinks, and you kind of just like burn them, right? Without really any, like for example here. If I slow down to you, right? So you blink, you attack the Mercy. 2 seconds. Let me just slow this down just a little bit, just because, so I'll make sure that everyone gets it, right? So you're attacking this Mercy, right? And she flies. You shoot. She's still in LOS, but you said, okay, I want to blink. Okay, so you blink here. The Hog is on the point. You're on the point. You essentially blink to kill the Mercy. That's fine. Now the Hog is here. You start shooting, and then you blink twice here. But why? You're essentially making it much easier for them to kill you. You are at an already decent position here. You could shoot. They weren't really looking at you when you decided to blink, right? He completed his rotation as you blinked. And if they were looking at you and so on, then you can use the blink to dodge and so on. But you were still in a very efficient range. You didn't have to rotate. You could essentially stay there and still have control over the choke right here. So what is the reasoning behind the blinks? And if this was a private coaching session, you could tell me if you had some kind of plan, or maybe you thought that they were gonna hook you, or whatever. There might have been something in your head, but you need to really think, because this is a reoccurring. This is just like an example. This might not be the best, but it's a reoccurring thing with you, that you blink a lot. You blink when you don't need to, mean that now you're one blink. You only have one blink and a recall, right? And you're coming up with a second, not too long, but you burned your blinks. So you have only your emergency blink left, the one that you're supposed to use only if necessary, meaning your compatibility, the amount of efficiency and aggression you can have now at stopping them from maybe re-entering the point or attacking you guys back is lowered, because you are low on cooldown, so you can't play as aggro without risking dying, right? So you're gonna go here, boom, and as we said, right here, for example, this is where you would be blinking far earlier, when he started looking at you and started hooking and shooting. That's when you would have been normally been trying to blink, right, to make it very difficult for him to hit you. On top of that, don't stand still like this. If someone because this is in general just a mentality thing, nothing is gonna happen while you do this, and I know you're doing it to heal. Just go to the Ana. Don't be rude. Like, go to the Ana, stand, take the healing, or go for a pack and take the pack and then continue. You staying still here might do that someone in another game or whatever, in another situation, might come up right behind you, kill you now. They have one kill, 5v6, they attack, they win that fight, you lost the point, because you absolutely had to stand still. Always move, always be active, and in general, again, just walk up to your Ana or take the health pack. Right now, you're wasting a lot of time wanting to receive healing from that support player. Go for the pack, and then start flanking again. You want to set up. A lot of the time, especially in Platinum, people overextend. They go really far up. I always found this super hilarious, right? So they're let's say that the Reinhardt died. Where's the Ryan? Here. Let's say that this Ryan died, right? Ignore these guys. So the Ryan is dead, and the team is regrouping, the people are coming into spawn. He will a lot of time push up and just wait here for no reason, without anyone protecting him or helping. And a lot of people do it. A lot of people don't wait here or wait in spawn for a full regroup. And while for certain snipers and so on, that makes a little bit of sense that they will be pushing up. Or for tracer players, a lot of time they can start a very early flank if possible. It gives you an opportunity to punish and deal DPS and build pulse bomb and so on, right? You're 73, you really want that in the beginning of the engagement, so when they push in as a cluster, and they are not paying attention to much, so you can go and stick someone early in that engagement to guarantee a win on it, right? Which then will, again, if you get a pulse bomb, you get a win early, halfway through the push or in the early stages of a push. That will, of course, benefit your team in an ult economy-wise really well. I'm not going to go into detail about that. Now, again, similar thing here. You're jumping out here for really no reason. Again, now they will see where you're coming from, and it's like, there's a Doomfist here, right? And using your blinks, all of them, to engage someone. You engaged him with no cooldowns now, so you don't have anything up and running to actually take this fight. And the possibility of you one-magging him with your accuracy, you should know, is that low. And in general, you're going to recall now, because logically you don't want to get one-shotted, which is good that you recalled, but now you recalled into their team, and you have one blink up and running, right? So this is incredibly bad, because if the enemy team is halfway decent, smart, or if you're just unlucky and they just continue to push now, they will be pushing while you are having to stay in your main group. You're not able to flank. You setting up a flank will cost you a lot of your abilities that you are still trying to regain, meaning that you will be out of this fight, since you shouldn't really engage without recall up and running, because it risks you of dying. You have to play passive now for 12 seconds, which is 12 seconds that the enemy team can use to push you and your team back, because you are going to be lacking, which is not very good, right? So you're going to take care. Now you're going to fight very, very like a soldier, right? You're going to be standing here essentially just spamming and so on, right? And now you're caught in I don't know if saying in between a rock and a hard place is correct English-wise. Someone in the comment section that is from the US or whatever can most likely explain that to me. Well, correct me on that. But let's just say, right, it's something similar to this. It's not their hero, right? But essentially, a big chunk of the enemy team is pushing here. And then there are some people that is most likely pushing behind you or pushing around you. You should be believing that they might be pushing around. Let's just say that's a brigade and a doomfist. I have no idea what it actually is. It's nothing to say. It's just a part of the example of this. It's their movement that matters. It's not really the team composition. Let's say it like that, okay? And your team is caught in between, trying to retreat into their choke point. Right now, you lost control. You lost control of the chokes. Your team lost control of these chokes or this choke. Allowing them to push in, which is kind of bad, since now they're caught in this like dead man's area where there's little to no cover, and your retreating team, which when they get in here, will get blocked by these walls, so everyone outside of the walls will get little to no support for your team, so you're fighting very split. That's bad. That you have nothing to do with that though. But you, who went for the Doomfist and burned all your abilities, now and fell back to your team because again you didn't want to die, and now you have no abilities, and you are caught here. Right? And I'm very sorry if I'm hitting my mic a lot. I see that I'm doing that because I'm moving my hands. I just came home to Oslo, so my setup is still work in progress. Anyway, so you are here, right? And the enemy team is pushing your team back. You are already low on resources. There might be coming people up here as well. And again, the important part is, if you had 3 blinks here, it's fine. But think if you had not burned these blinks and recalled back, you could be setting up here. You could be, god damn it. You could be setting up here, or you could be pushing their backline, or attacking, or at least harassing their backline, or you could be walking all the way over here, maybe, if you want to do that, and then harassing and killing those guys, or if the enemy team, you know, starts stacking and pushing in here, right, then you could essentially just be playing around, you know, everywhere between here, and essentially harassing their backline, as you're supposed to do. Which will slow down the push of their team, or at least do if these guys push and you are attacking and killing the backline, they send people to attack you, right? Then they're pushing 3v5 through a choke, and you will just be running away and kiting them forever, and then coming back into the fight when they're trying to regroup. So you could harass and slow down their point, and split their forces and get picks and do a lot of damage, and you could do all of that if you didn't burn your resources that early, and now you're caught here with no resources. Your team is getting pushed back, and you can't slow down. You can't do your job as Tracer, as actually physically slowing them down by killing their backline, attacking their tank line, forcing them to divert resources over to you. You can't do that because you don't have the abilities to survive, right? Which is a really risky spot to be in, right? And then you blink twice there and then 3. Now you don't have your blink. Now you have to burn another one, right? And you're just constantly on the run. You're not really doing much efficiency there, and you managed to get out, which is good for you, right? But if this Dragon Blade wasn't gonna pop off, you haven't been doing anything in this team fight, right? This is your team popping, right? So that's a lot of big problems going on to. There's also some of the majority of the fault that, again, this is mentality things. You're burning your cooldowns wrong. You're not attacking and harassing the their backline properly. Not setting up your flanks is especially important. You don't set them up. You can't just stay in your main group and then kind of jump around a little bit and make it very visible where you're going and so on. Your accuracy and your mechanics also kind of weird. Especially you don't have the mechanics to do a blink 180, blink 180, blink 180. you can't do that. Or, well, yeah, blink 180. And so on. So, right? And this as well, right? This is very chaotic. You're fighting kind of in a cluster. You're not really setting up. You're not fighting on the outside in. You're fighting on the inside out, right? So you're inside the enemy team, fighting outside. Like, you're kind of trying to move on the outside, kind of like dodging and weaving through this mosh pit of enemies. That means that random damage, and you're very visible on their screens, meaning that their logical visual game sense, meaning what they can see, is very obvious that where you are. And you can take random poke damage and so on, and take a lot of stupid aggro that you didn't need to. Again, having to burn a lot of ability just to stay alive inside of there. Instead of fighting from the outside where you're looking onto them, they can't visually see you, and then you can just walk around, shoot at them, take whoever's HP. The people that are low, you can either kill secure, or you can pressure someone that is going aggro, and so on. And in general, do that they will have to have game sense, look over to you, and then send a lot of people after you to try to deal with you, right? So again, this is just mentality and positionings, which is, you know, kind of bad. This is good, right? This is kind of like outside in. You're kind of hiding here. They are not visibly looking at you, but you can shoot them. You can run away if you want to here. You have the abilities to stay here. You can get out. You can get further into their backline, into towards the spawn area if you could push there. You can get under and under here. You can get this way. You can even blink around here on your right and so on. You're low HP, which is because you were on the outside in, right? And you had to blink through them to get to this position. But this position is much better if you could have had it naturally. On top of that, this is something that I found very funny when I watched it. So you go here, you blink a little bit around, you shoot a little bit, then you take a lot of damage, and then you stay here, right? And then you shoot. And that's a decision for you. If you didn't want to recall, that's a decision for you. If you didn't want to recall to get that HP, you kind of want to try to survive here with the 50. But then, you know, you start shooting, blah, blah, and then you recall here. When you could just blink back. You just blink back instead of recall. You didn't get the HP for it, which I found a little bit fun. And it looks like, I don't know how much time you have on Tracer, but a lot of this should be very, like, understandable stuff. So some of it is, that is a mechanical mistake. That is not something to do with your game sense. A Platinum Tracer, I'm not expecting you to know how to do proper setups and proper flanking and when to harass and disturb and so on. I'm not expecting that of you, or maybe not even the cooldown management, aim-wise and so on. That's something like the accuracy and just knowing like when recall gives HP and so on. That's stuff that I am, and stuff that they're standing still to receive honor healing, right? Like shots are flying past you. That is stuff that I'm expecting to see from a platinum player. This might of course be an unlucky game, but I can't judge from that. I can only judge what I see. That's good. That's a pulse bomb. Boom. And yeah. Yeah. I don't think that there's much more else. If I remember correctly now, this is mostly just you running around, kind of like winning. It looks like one of the things that is a little bit funny if you rewatch some of the gameplay, when a whole hogs, it looks like you have much better accuracy on them, but like when he's just normally running around very predictably, it's not the same. Maybe this was a warm-up game and that's why your aim was so shit compared to what you're supposed to be, because towards the end there, right, you saw a lot of nice headshots, and sometimes you have some nice like tracking upwards and so on, which is, it's a little bit weird. That's what I found, because earlier in the game you missed on a hog, really close range, you kind of shot around him, and I didn't analyze too much of your aim style, but one of the things that I saw happening from time to time, at least early game, is that you will lock onto someone and you will then vibrate your mouse off them. So it looks like you're overcompensating the tracking from time to time, which can either be too high sensitivity. I don't think you're too high sensitivity. It looks very nice. And it's so individual, so I can't really comment on that. But that's something that I would highly recommend you checking out, or even checking out crouching a little bit more when you're attacking people. Logically, again, if you can fight more on the outside and then inwards, right? So to just kind of like have a blank drawing space. If the enemy team is here pushing, right, or whatever, right, they can be looking at any direction, right? So in here, in some area that the enemy team is. So if you fight, you know, from here, kind of on the, again, you fight from the outside end, so you are anywhere between here. You don't want to be where they're kind of pushing, because then they're pushing into you, right? Then you can go in, go out, go in, go out, so on, right? And you can essentially, you can just stay here and just into them, shoot into them, and then get out if you need to. Or you can even look for kills, right? At that point, you can walk up behind someone, and then like no joke, if you can see all 6 of them, everything has the backs turned to you, especially in platinum. And you see as in Yada, he's like shing shooting, right? You can go up behind him and stand still and aim at his head and hold mouse 1. Because he won't have the reaction time to turn around and immediately mark and then headshot, right? So you can actually do that and then stand still and then shoot. You can do that. So the better version of that is to walk up to someone and then maybe crouching behind them real quick and then shooting your beginning shots, so that you make sure that you don't walk up and you have to compensate for your own strafing and your own movement and their movement. That can be an easier way for you to guarantee kills, but in general, getting aim drills down is very important, so that you improve your accuracy and especially improve the whole sit on them, so that you don't do like you sit on them and you aim on them and you keep it on them and then like you do this, right? So you kind of like overcompensate. They strafe, they go to the left, so a little bit, and then you like you compensate a lot, and then you know, oh, I compensate too much to the left, so I need to do way too much to the right, and then way too much to the left again, and way too much to the right? Instead, just make sure you can kind of like keep it on the area. And remember, a lot of time when people strafe, they can move into your crosshair. That's a very important Widowmaker technique that a lot of Widowmakers would tell you about, especially in high tier. There are a lot of time when someone is strafing like left, right, right, like this, and it's irritating. Instead of them trying to track that, they put their crosshair. For example, see, you can see like it's the same kind of pattern. So I'll put my crosshair here, and then when he goes there, and then over here, I shoot, right? Because it's a predictable pattern, especially in low elos. It's very predictable how they're gonna move. So I hope that this helps. As always, if there's any concerns, any questions about the VOD, anything that you think that I'm wondering about, you can ask it down in the comments. You can also go on the Discord, and if you want to do a video like this yourself, where you kind of get reviewed, our Discord servers, there's help. You link a YouTube VOD of you playing, 720p minimum, decent audio so I can listen to it, and so on. In general, I have a decent video. No matter the rank, no matter the hero, it needs to be competitive, but no matter the rank and no matter the hero, doesn't matter, and console, PC, whatever, it doesn't matter. Same with my private coaching, you can just hit me up. And we'll take a look at it. It can also be a scrim VOD, whatever. In general, as long as it's a competitive version and like with people trying their very best and you trying your very best, then I'm happy. I hope this helped. You guys take care of yourself. I love you guys very, very much. You guys stay positive, and as always, guys, keep the enemy in your crosshair.